it's Doris from All the Books, and I have the second half of my March wrap-up to share with you now. And I am totally cracking myself up because I changed my shirt so that I have a different shirt on, because I don't want to have two videos with the same shirt. But my kitty hasn't moved her position, so it's quite obvious, which obviously I don't care if you know, I just don't want to have the same shirt on. Oh, so funny to me. Anyway, let's jump right in. All the Bright Places. I know I already wrapped this one up in my last video, but I felt like I didn't say what I really wanted to say about it. I think, to be honest, I'm a very self-contained person and the type that thinks that we're all responsible for making our own happiness in this life, and for most of us that's the case. Suck it up, buttercup, move on. But you know, in that saying, I struggle being sympathetic with suicide, and I know this about myself. I think this is a common problem. But this book, I do believe there are, especially creative souls, there are souls that are just too sensitive for this life, and that struggle with the brutality in our world. And Jennifer Nivens just beautifully painted that picture, and it just really impacted me and made me see, you know, I don't know. I hope I'm speaking well. I mean, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here, but yeah, this was really an important book in my opinion. So then I read Every Heart a Doorway. I grabbed this one at my morning high school. They got a new book shipment in. It was all displayed, and I was kind of approaching the end of the month. It was the last week of the month, and I wasn't close to double digits at all yet, and so I was trying to figure out how I could make double digits, and you know, this is a tiny one, so I snatched it up and I read it in a day, and it was nice. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't my favorite. I liked the story idea, and I liked what she was trying to do with diversity, and I feel like she accomplished it for me with one of the characters, the one that was gender fluid. That storyline really worked for me, but the rest didn't. I felt like she was trying too hard in a short amount of time. I think this would have benefited a great deal from being a longer book, if that makes sense, because it was a great story idea. It was a great story idea. And then I finished The Inner Life of Cats. This is nonfiction by Thomas McNamee, and this was an ARC, I believe. Yeah, it was releasing in March. This was good, young adult, and it's a lot of scientific studies that he talks about in here. Each chapter is divided. He starts out with this kitten that wandered up to his home and just follows, the cat's name is Augusta, and he follows her life cycle and talks about the different stages and aspects of being a cat. And some of it depends on your stand, because you know, cat people are in various camps. There are the cats don't go outside at all ever, and they're the barn cats that wander freely. So yeah, this book might irritate some people that are in the cats never go outside camp, just saying. But anyway, I thought it was a good contribution to the genre. Then I read John Murray, A Few Short Notes on Tropical Butterflies. This was I'm going to start reading short stories. This was my first attempt at that, and it was a big, big success. These stories are gorgeously written. He has such a gift for painting a picture, especially exotic locales, and that just different from the normal big city hubbub. Like, several of his stories are set in India. One of them is mountain climbing, the Himalayas. A couple of them are kind of maritime themed. And the last story was the most gorgeous and impactful for me. And there was one of them, I think the sixth one, that I was like, that was a dud. But overall, even if the story didn't like wrap up nicely for me, or wasn't, they all made me think. Like, I kept thinking about them after I finished. So I think that's probably a good sign of a good short story, that you keep thinking about it. So, and these are focused very naturalist, some medicine talk, and yeah, cultural. I liked it. I enjoyed it. And then I reread Animal Farm. We are working on this in my high school class, and I was really struck by the difference between Animal Farm and 1984. 1984 was just so dense at the beginning, getting started in it, and then it was fine once you got in the rhythm of the novel. But this one is so accessible. I mean, my ESL students are just finding it delightful. But it's obviously deep too, and they're both political. But yeah, great story, and also teeny tiny if you're ever needing it for a readathon. And I wanted to show you, I brought, my students are making little graphic novels to go with the book. So they're making a page for each chapter, a spread for each chapter. So this is chapter 5, when Napoleon ousts Snowball. And look, doesn't that remind you of Nacho Libre? I just love it. There's the windmill. Yeah. And then, let's see, this one, it was so funny to me. Here's the little sheep. 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. And this cracks me up. A couple pages later, he's got, when Napoleon ousts Snowball, he's got Snowball there, and there's a little arrow to Mexico. I just thought it was clever. And then this one, there's the Battle of Cowshed. So they're doing a good job with that. And then the last one, this was a book olive. I think this is one of her favorites. So I snagged it at the used bookstore when I went a couple months ago, and I decided to read it. And Rules of Civility by Amor Towles. And when I first started this, I think I say this a lot, it takes me 60 to 100 pages to really get into a story sometimes. And this one followed that route. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. It's set in the late 30s, but it reads more like a Roaring Twenties novel. So I don't often enjoy novels that talk about the extremely wealthy, and I don't always enjoy novels set in the Gilded Age. But this one, you know, I gave it a chance, and it totally surprised me. And I just loved, one thing I loved about it was how she would just casually introduce, he would just casually introduce new characters, and they eventually all mattered to the plot, although there was one that I never figured out how she was important. But it just kept it interesting, and the things that happened in the end, it just the story built and ended well, and I enjoyed it a lot. Thanks for the recommendation, A Book Olive. So yeah, so it was a good reading month. I pulled through in the end, and I think April is going to be amazing. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will be back soon. Bye.